Hi everybody, here we are again on Friday morning in Itamar, Israel, and we're going to do our fourth lesson on Perkay avot. It's exciting. Let's start. Today we're going to begin with Mishnah Bet. Shimon HaTzadik haya misharei knesset hagedola. Shimon HaTzadik, Shimon the righteous, was a remnant of the High Assembly. Hu haya omer al shlosha dvarim ha'olam hamein. He used to say that the world stands on three things. What are they? Ala Torah, on the Torah, V'al avodah, on the divine service, V'al gemilut chasadim, on love and kindness. In order to understand why he mentions, again, we spoke about last week about great rabbis and great teachers in Torah. There are thousands and millions of things to talk about. But he focused on three things, which are fundamental principles: the Torah, working in the temple, the avodah, and love and kindness. Why? In order to understand this, I think we should read first a midrash that I found over here, which is a famous story. A lot of people have heard this story before, which talks about a meeting between Shimon HaTzadik and Alexander from Macedon, Alexander, known as Alexander the Great. So we will begin the midrash. On the 25th day of the month of Tevet, Yom HaGerizim, it was the day of Mount Gerizim. Mount Gerizim was right over here as we look out the window. I'm pointing to it. Mount Gerizim is the Mount of Blessing. And it was a special holiday called Mount Gerizim, the Mount Gerizim Day. That you are not allowed to have any eulogy. A day you're not allowed to mourn. Now why? The Jewish people had something called, an ancient scroll was written called Megillat Ta'anit. And they would write down different days that they were like holidays for them. And they wouldn't fast on those days. They wouldn't have eulogies on those days because of special miracles that took place. And one of these days happens to be Mount Gerizim Day, which took place right over here again on the 25th day of Tevet. What happened? It was a day where the Kuti'im, the Shorim, the Samaritans, Yom Shebikshu Kuti'im et Beit Eloheinu Alexander Mogdon Lachrivo. They wanted to destroy the temple that was in Jerusalem, our holy temple. And they went to Alexander the Great, and they said, we want to destroy they wanted to make a plot to destroy our temple. Shimon HaTzadik found out about this plot that the Samaritans are trying to convince Alexander the Great to destroy the temple. Me'asa, what did he do? He got dressed up in his holy priestly garments. He was a high priest, and he put on the garments. And he had the honored Jewish people together with him, which means leaders are the leaders of Israel at the time. They were carrying torches, lighting up torches as they in their hands. And the whole entire night they're walking. And this one in two groups. Until the morning star shone. When the morning star rose in the morning, Amar Alexander Lekutim Sheimo. Alexander went over to the Samaritans, the Shomonim, and he says to them, Who are these? Amar lehem Yehudim shemodu b'cha. These are Jews that are rebelling against you. Kivan shegia l'Antipatos zacha chama. When they reached Antipatos, which is it's a fortress which is located, I'm pointing in the direction of it, not too far, near Rosh Hashanah, about a 35-minute drive from here. Pagu zeh b'zeh, both groups met each other. Kivan shera l'Shimon HaTzadik yirad mimekafto ishtachava lefanav. The minute Alexander the Great saw Shimon HaTzadik, the high priest, he came off of his merkava, from his chariot, and he says to him, the Samaritans immediately started asking him, Melech gadol kemotcha ishtachava liyehudi zeh, a great king like you, how could you bow down to these Jews? And he says to them, he says, when I go out to war, I see a vision of this great man over here. I see his vision. And he says to them, what did you come for? This is what Alexander the Great says to Shimon HaTzadik. Why did you come? Amru efshar bayit shmitpalelim bo alecha v'al malchutcha shelo ticharev yat'ucha goyim lachrivo. He goes, can it possibly be that in a house that we're praying for your well-being, There are those that want to come and destroy this house. So Alexander the Great gets angry and says, who are these people that are actually praying for your destruction of your house? These Samaritans that are standing right next to you, they want to destroy our house. And then he said they are given to you. And then it continues the Midrash to talk about their punishment they got. And they were punished, dragged all the way to Hagrizim, all the way to the Mount Grizim right over here. And when they reached Mount Grizim, this is a mountain where the Samaritans, again, they built a temple and they worshiped idols. And they plowed. Alexander the Great had their entire mountain over here of their site plowed, and they planted, I guess, some food for kalishin. It's a kind of food for horses or for animals. The Midrash says what they wanted to do to the temple and destroy the holy temple of Israel ended up happening to their site over here on Mount Gerizim. This is a powerful story again. And how do we connect this story with this thing of Shimon HaTzadik? Well, we have to try to realize that every story that's brought down in the Midrash or by our rabbis has something very, very deep, a deep message inside the story in itself. And the deep message that's coming out of the story is that the temple standing in Jerusalem is not just a private temple for the Jewish nation itself. The temple of Israel, the temple that will be rebuilt, God willing, on Har-HaBayit, on our Temple Mount in Jerusalem, hopefully soon, will give a blessing to the entire world. Now, Alexander the Great, we know, of Macedon, he was one of the greatest fighters in history. He had a tremendous empire. And the point of what the rabbis are teaching us here is that his mighty empire stood in the merit of the Jewish nation, in the merit that the Jewish nation will be respected and left alone by the nations. But the minute that they wanted to come up and destroy our temple, just like we see here, the whole idea of the Samaritans, Shimon HaTzadik, the great holy priest, he was the holiest man on earth, someone who would enter that holy site once a year on Yom Kippur and pray for the well-being of the Jewish nation, the entire world. He was saying right out to this great leader, Alexander the Great, that if you guys are with us, you'll be blessed. But if you are against us, obviously the opposite will occur. That's a tremendous message over here. And that's what Shimon HaTzadik now is saying. The entire world stands on three pillars. One of them is Torah. Torah, of course, the entire universe is built on Torah. There's nothing greater than Torah, nothing more important than Torah. On avodah, on divine service, which means a temple. Without a Jewish temple in the world could be destroyed. The world has no existence. That will give a tremendous blessing. Everyone's complaining about the economic crisis and this crisis in the world, corruption. But if we had our temple, the entire world would be blessed 1,000,000 times fold. And love and kindness. Love and kindness, of course, is reaching out to all those who need help and not to forget the needy. But the answer is, how are we going to reach out to all those wonderful people out there that are really looking for help and need help? By having a strong Torah and a strong temple and standing in Israel, then the world will be able to receive a tremendous amount of love and kindness and help for all those who need help, and there will be a much better world to live in. Well, it's been a wonderful pleasure again being here and giving our fourth lesson in Perkay Avot. Looking forward to meeting you next week after the great holiday of Shavuot, of receiving the Torah and Sinai. So I want to wish you all a happy holiday, and we will meet again next week. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.